Bird on Bears fans, Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. We got a Justin Fields injury update today, and Todd McShay has dropped his first mock draft. Who does he have going to the Chicago Bears? We'll talk about all that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze, and it starts right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. A couple things today. First and foremost, right, we did get an update on Justin Fields. Apparently, he is day-to-day currently with an undisclosed illness that Coach Flus put out there, right? Dealing with, I'm assuming, right, flu-like symptoms this time of year, different things like that. But he is in the building and expected to play, which is good to hear. When you first hear day-to-day, first thing I thought was, oh, my God, here we go. We're going to be trying to sit him now. This is what we're going to, right? This is how we're going to start, right? Day-to-day is how we're going to start trying to change the narrative and slowly move away from having him on the field. But Justin is going to be, Flus did say that he was optimistic that Justin would be able to go in this game on Sunday versus the Eagles, and he's expecting him to play, which is good, right? Because I feel like there's still a ton of learning curve. I talked about that on a previous video. Check that out in the link up here. I talked about that on a previous video, right? Breaking down why Justin Fields should continue to play. I think that you have to have him out there for these learning experiences, and so to see him be able to still go out there, to see him be able to still play, right? I think those are big things. And to see him have an opportunity to go up against some of these tougher defenses and see what he's going to be able to do as he's developed, right? Because we've seen him we haven't played a crazy tough defense. I mean, the Jets maybe, but he kind of was like picking them apart until the second half when I'm telling y'all the play calling changed, bro. Nobody wants to believe me when I say this, but I am telling y'all the play calling 110% changed in that game. I'm not buying it, bro. I'm not buying it. Is all I'm saying. But here's the thing, right? Gonna be good to see him get out there. Hopefully he's gonna be able to get a little bit of practice in. I would assume, right? They said he's still in the building. They said he's not, right, like to the point where he can't come in and be around people. So those are both good things to hear. Are you excited to see Justin Fields this Sunday? Let me know in the comments below. It's weird, right, having a week off. Me and Hayes were talking about it. Justin Fields is one of the most exciting things in this city right now, dog. So it's like I miss seeing Justin play. Are you excited to see Justin Fields play this Sunday? Let me know in the comments below as well, man. Also hit that like button if you have not done so, man. We appreciate all the Bears fans that tune into the channel. We got to keep this thing going, though, because Todd McShay has dropped his first mock draft of the year, and he has the Chicago Bears, and this is what's going to get a lot of people hot. It's going to get a lot of people hot. Taking a defensive player, best available player on the board. He has Will Anderson going to the Chicago Bears, overtaking an offensive player. And so the question on the table is that where you want to see the Bears go, right? You got Will Anderson. You know he's going to be dominant. You need help on that defensive line. 1 and 2, right? You're probably going to see the the Texans take a quarterback in that situation with the situation they have down there with Davis Mills. They're going to want to go with the QB. There's still a ton of options on the board, right? But if this is simply just if the Chicago Bears stay at 3, do you like to see Will Anderson be the pick? Here's the thing. There's so many holes to fill on this team. There's so much that this team needs to fix, right? That you can't just say, oh, I don't think that this is going to be a good move for the Chicago Bears. I don't think that, right? Because, right, I understand we want to help Justin. I understand we want to get these players in here to make Justin Fields better. And maybe the Bears still do that, right? Maybe there's, in my opinion, if you have a pick this high, unless you feel like Will Anderson Jr. is going to be Aaron Donald, you trade back and you try to get as many players in this building as possible. Which, listen, maybe you do feel like Will Anderson Jr. is going to be Aaron Donald. But I think the question in this situation is, if he's not, right, is this the right pick to make? Because I can't say he's not the best available player on the board. And so, and you need help at your offensive line, right? Travis Gibson kind of came to a standstill this season. Dominique Robinson is so raw that you don't know what he's actually going to be, and it actually might help him, right, a little bit more if you have a guy like Will Anderson standing in there on the defense as well. We didn't see as much as we thought we would see from Justin Jones, who was great. He was okay in the run defense, right? But the Bears just aren't creating pressure on that defensive line. Do you want to see the Bears go with a defensive lineman, an outside linebacker, right, whatever it may be? Do you want to see the Bears go defense early on in this draft, basically, or would you rather see the Bears go with a little bit of offense early on, right? And who's the player that you think is going to be on top of Will Anderson right now, right? As I said, the two players that you got going, you got Bryce Young. He has Bryce Young going to Houston. He has Jalen Carter from Georgia going to Seattle. Those are two of the top players, and the Bears will have an opportunity probably at either Jalen Carter or Will Anderson. And so you kind of have to decide which one you really want there in that situation. But I think the big thing, right, is what do you feel like those players are going to be, right? Like, we're early on in the draft process, season's still going on, but what do you feel like those players are going to be in the NFL, and how do they add to this team right away? Because 3, you got to add right away, right? Like, 3 has to add. I love the idea that, right, like, oh, he's a top pick, but we got to give him this grace period of half the season to develop, right? Like, no, when you're picking that high, you're picking guys that you think are going to be able to make an impact right away on the field. Not to say that they shouldn't be allowed that time to develop. I think that's a necessity, right? You can't say, oh, he didn't develop quick enough for me, because, right, if you said that, Christian Watson's a bust, and Christian Watson actually looks like he can play a little bit of football, right? Like, he was somebody I was really high on coming into the draft, possibly the Bears going to get, but he didn't have that game when he started the season. That game developed as the season went on. But the thing for me is, right, 3, you're expecting that guy to make an impact the second he's able to step on the field. If you think Will Anderson can turn into that player, if he's an Aaron Donald talent, if he's a Myles Garrett talent, I'm all for you going after Will Anderson Jr. I like what he does. I like how he's able to attack, how he's able to get to the quarterback first and foremost, right? And that's the one thing the Bears need most. But on top of everything else, right, I think that he'll be able to come in and be develop into a really good leader of this defense. And you need somebody that's going to be an impact player at 3, and you need somebody that's going to be an impact player just for this defensive line as a whole. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below, man, because for me, do you think that Will Anderson Jr. is the pick that the Bears go with, like Todd McShay said, or do you think that the Bears trade back and try to accumulate more picks? Because, right, like, there's 2 things that you need here, right? You need a guy like Will Anderson on this team, and I know everybody's going to say trade back. I feel like they should trade back as well. I think that there's going to be a little bit more offensive talent later in this draft that you feel a little more justified taking there. But there's also the side of this that I understand on the defensive side. Guess what? You took Kyler Gordon and Jaquan Brisker last year. You've got Jalen Johnson that you took, 2-3 years ago? 2-3 years ago, something like that. And these are guys that have to have pressure on the quarterback for them to do their job at a high level, right? Like, you can play well, you can do certain things well, but for you to do your job at an efficiently high level, you need pressure on the quarterback. Will Anderson can provide that. Hopefully, with another season of off season, more reps throughout the season, Dominique Robinson can develop into that kind of player, but you need that pressure on the quarterback for your DBs to take that next step, and for your linebackers to be able to that's how you get your interceptions. That's how you get your picks, different things like that, right? So for me, I'm looking at, yes, I want to see the Bears add to this offensive side of the football as well. I want to see the Bears do a little bit more. I would like to see them fill as many holes as possible in this draft, right? Because I think that's the other thing too. You can't just say, oh, well, take the best talent available when, yeah, I take the best talent available sounds great, but we have so many spots devoid of talent that we need talent at those positions that's going to start developing this season so that it can be better when we're in a position that we're ready to win in, right? So I think there's an argument on both sides for this. For me, I lean more towards trading back than taking Will Anderson Jr., but I wouldn't be mad if we took Will Anderson Jr. at that spot. I think that just comes down to what Ryan Poles and Matt Eburflus think he's going to be in the NFL and how they think he's going to develop in the NFL. I want to know how you guys feel, though, man. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think the Bears should do in this draft, man? Do you want to see this team go out there and draft high? Do you want to see them take this pick? Or are you like, yeah, I've heard many people say you don't take this pick unless it's for a quarterback. And there's going to be so many people that are thirsty to get a quarterback that you might be able to get a haul of picks in and still be able to get a really nice, solid player for your team. But is it going to be one of those situations where we look at it and we're like, but we could have had him. We could have had him. Let me know in the comments below, man. I'll be down there talking with you as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the links on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Oh, we'll be live for a live call tonight, so tune in with that as well. Bulls, Knicks, tune in. Peace.